Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real. Hey, I just like that music. I'm telling you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Shop Talk with Mel. Listen, I got a great look. Let me just introduce you correctly. My girl, I love her to pieces. Always come through. Always coming through for me. Attorney Kim Akins. Let's give it up for Attorney Kim Akins. Gotta hit your mute, hon.
Hey. How you doing?
I am doing awesome. I thank you so much for coming on because, we need some help. The people need some help. And I need to do it the right way. Hold on. Let me do this the right way. We got a great show planned for you today. I have the lovely Kim Akins. Let's give it to her. Yes, honey, I got to do it the right way, the right way. And also we have Like Me Skincare, and the reason that I called in for Like Me Skincare later in the show because I used some stuff, some little cream. It was thebomb.com. So I got her coming on at 11 o'clock. We got Hot Topics. We got Nick with The Voice. She's the voice of the community. And she always keep it 100. She speaks her mind. And I'm just going to put this out here right now. The opinions of Nick the Voice is not the opinions of the guest or the staff at Shop Talk with Mel.
You go ahead and put out that disclaimer now.
Hey, put it out. I'm putting it out, girl. Putting it straight out. Kim, listen. Okay, our current president, I had to call you. I'm so grateful that you was able to just, boom, come in before your flight. I love it. It's good to have friends, people. It's good to have friends and people that you know. Our current president, let's jump right into this. He said he ain't going. He ain't leaving. What's your thoughts to that?
I think you better call Tyrone. No, he going. January 20th, he going. It doesn't matter. He's gone. Though the truth of the matter is the people close to the White House say he's gone before January 20th.
Okay. Well, what happened prior to, go ahead, Kim.
Well, here's his problem, and here's why he doesn't want to go. He don't want to be president. He never wanted to be president. This was a branding exercise. This was to make more money and raise the Trump brand. So when he won, nobody was as shocked as he was, except for Melania. So he didn't want to be president. He didn't want to do the job. He hadn't worked in forever. He sat up in his little office in New York and made calls, and that's all he did. So then when he won, it was like, oh, crap. Now I got to actually pretend like, and he didn't even pretend like he had wanted to do the job. Now, he still doesn't want to do the job, but what's waiting for him outside the White House is what made him run again. When he leaves the White House, there are a host of federal charges that can be filed against him. There are a raft of charges in New York State, and there are probably places that will sue him for all the money that they didn't pay for all them rallies they held. So, the only reason he wants to stay in the White House is so he can't be indicted.
Wait a minute. They ain't pay for the rallies?
They ain't pay for police departments all over the country. He owes like $500,000 to cities all over the country for all of those COVID spreading rallies he held. Because he don't pay nobody. He never did. He was notorious for never paying his bills. And I don't know if you heard, right before the election, he had all these rallies. And so he bussed people in. And then when the rally was over, the buses didn't show up to pick them up. It's because he didn't pay the bus companies. He don't pay nobody.
Oh, see, I thought it was so crowded. Go ahead, Nick.
A little louder for the Trumpies in the back. The Trumpies in the back, because they still believe that he did good. He ran his country good. Oh, our country is going to hell now. Let's pray that he get
if it was fraud, if the Democrats were that good that they basically created 5 million extra votes for Joe Biden all over the country in places like Arizona and Georgia, do you think Mitch McConnell would still be in Kentucky? Because Kentucky would have been easier to fix than any of those other places. So, and the Democrats just aren't that organized. They have never been that organized to organize 10 states, to flip 10 states. People were just tired of this fool. So they wanted him gone.
Well, I saw, and I'm looking at the map and I said, oh, well, there is a divide in the country, because I was totally shocked when it was like split so close, 49 to 51. You know what I mean? I'm looking like, is this for real? Is this for real?
I guess you didn't find that meme, but there's a meme that says, oh, no, they didn't object to Biden. It was that colored gal he was bringing with him.
That's it. We talked about that was it last week, Nick? Or the week before?
Yep.
Last week?
Last weekend, the week before.
Where some people felt like they didn't want to vote for Biden because of Kamala.
Take my word today. By 2023, Kamala will be president.
Okay.
Biden may not make it. Biden is almost 80.
Why y'all saying that? People living a whole lot longer these days.
The presidency, the only person that didn't have any side effects from the burden of the presidency was Trump. That's because he wasn't doing the job. Everybody else that went in there, Barack Obama looked like a strong, healthy, 40-something-year-old man when he went in, and he looked like somebody beat him with an age stick when he came out. His hair is completely white. Anybody that tries to do that job, the burden of it is so much. Because every day, everything you do is causing somebody to die somewhere. Trump wasn't affected because Trump didn't care and he wasn't the one making the decisions. Biden is 78 years old. Vice president ain't the same as president. If you're the one making the call, then that responsibility is on you. I don't know that he's going to make it to 2023. And I'm betting that Kamala Harris will be the first woman president in the United States because of something that happened. Well, Come at me in 2023. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. And that's the thing that scares those folks most. They do not want a black woman to lead this country. That's a bridge too far.
Okay. A bridge, first
that's
of all,
one
because
we need, for real.
Well, we had a black president, but a black female. And it was some doctors that I know that when Hillary was running against him, they just weren't ready for a female president. A female leader. They just weren't ready for her. They're like, they'll vote for anybody except a female. They're not ready. And that's your older people.
What is it Malcolm said? The most disrespected person in the world is the black woman. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how smart Kamala is. It doesn't matter how accomplished she is. It doesn't matter that she could be right. They will lose their minds. If they lost their minds behind Barack Obama, they're going to lose their minds behind Kamala Harris. They'll be in the streets about that.
And the sad thing about that is the amount of black men that's supposed to have a black woman's back. They're in on that boat as well. They just don't want, because she put too many black men in jail and this and that. Man, get over it. If you don't do the crime, you ain't got to do the time. So get over it.
Now,
have a queen's back for once, like we have yours. Even when you
now you're talking. Now you're talking. Not male bashing, but now you're talking. Very seldom do you find a man having a female's back more than she has his. Now you're talking. Now we get it.
Everything that they put a black woman through, a black woman still has a man's back. We still carry their burdens without them knowing it, and then behind the scenes. But let it be time for them to carry us. You very seldomly find a black man carrying a black woman, but that black woman that black queen is always going to carry that king, regardless. And no, you're right. I'm not bashing the man at all. I'm just letting y'all know what women go through behind the scenes, even though sometimes you don't know. There's things that men worry about and wondering how they gonna do this and do that. And behind the scenes, they woman is doing everything, making phone calls, doing whatever she gotta do to help carry the man. And then you have some men that are so proud, they don't want to take that help. Man, take that help. You know what I mean? This is what we are supposed to do for our men, especially nowadays for black men, because of our black men and our children are losing their lives. So as a race, we need to stick together. And there's just so much division, especially with that fool that was in the office, is not only showing the racist people they coming out of the woods, but you also seeing the racism among your own race. That's what is so scary.
Now
That's
that
what
happens.
scared me.
Now that happens, and that is an issue. I want to clear this up though. As far as like men and women having men's back and men having women back, that's not a race thing. I think that's just across the board. That's a sex thing, a sexist type thing. But I want to get into, while we have Attorney Akins here, I want to get into the legalities of him not leaving, not moving. He being evicted. Like we gonna have to. Is it like 90 days? The eviction letter. Like, how does that work? Because he said he was not leaving.
Well, here's the thing. He's filed lawsuits all over the country trying to stop the count or trying to, say that it's fraudulent or whatever. Even Republican governors are saying there's no fraud. So if you can't argue fraud, you can't overturn the vote. So he's just hit. He's had 12 cases go into court. He is now 0-12. He has lost every single one because there is no fraud. So the election will now, once the count is done, the election gets certified by the Secretary of State in each state.
Okay.
At that point, they have to have the electors who sit in the Electoral College do the vote. They have to vote the way their state voted. We already had a Supreme Court case about this. You have to vote the way your state voted. So if Georgia went for Biden, those electors have to vote for Biden. We already went to this party in 2016, so we know that that's true. So all of those states where Biden won, those electors will vote for Biden. Then it goes to Congress. Congress reaffirms that, and the election is over. Now, come January 20th, regardless of whether Trump likes it or not, his term is over. His term is over, and Joe Biden has said, yes, we have the means in the federal government to remove trespassers. So what will happen is on January 20th, on January 19th.
He will be a trespasser.
He will be a trespasser. He will be it will look like...
Now that's a reality show I will watch.
Oh, if they put that mess on pay-per-view, they can just take my money. Take my money. I want to see it.
Exactly.
But the staff at the White House starts packing up his stuff that week. They do what they do. He doesn't get to order them not to pack. They going to pack his stuff, and whether he got a truck outside or not, they going to put his stuff out.
I'll pay for the trucks.
Look at you. Like, I'll pay for it. Look, you ain't going to sit there and do what he do. You're not going to contract somebody and not pay for it. Look, you going to pay for the trucks.
I'll pay for it myself.
Now here's...
Make it an episode of Cops. Let the Secret Service run on up in there, grab him by his coattails, and drag him out. You have all my money. I put it on repeat. It will just be my screensaver.
That's right.
Well, here's my question, though. Isn't there something that, like, they pretty much brief the oncoming president of what's going on? Because I did see where President Obama was saying that he had the book regarding the coronavirus, and President Trump decided he's not using anything that President Obama had. And now with President-elect coming in, Joe Biden, he's like not even talking to anybody, and he won't brief him. I'm confused, and I'm wondering too. Here's part two: why the rush on the coronavirus vaccine? Did he want to get it out before his presidency was over, or what?
He wanted them to announce that they had it before the election so he could take credit for it.
Okay.
But they didn't. But it's Pfizer. Pfizer didn't do it. Pfizer was like, no, you ain't got nothing to do with this. We'll announce it when we want to announce it. So they announced it after the election. He's still trying to take credit for it. Not one person in the country has had this vaccine yet. We don't know. There's always a side effect. You know how you watch those commercials for drugs on TV, and there's always that section of the commercial where the announcer says side effects may be loss of hair, loss of brain cells, heart attack, cancer. We don't know.
Wait, you forgot the one. Death.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like, you forgot the one. Death.
Yeah, you may. So anytime you produce a drug, there's an element of risk to it. We don't know how much risk is associated with this vaccine yet. You know, it's like rolling the dice. Most people won't have a bad effect. Some people will. So, but they weren't willing to announce that the vaccine existed before the election to give Trump a bump so he could come out and say, yeah, my administration did this when he didn't have nothing to do with it. But in terms of him not going, it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he does. On January 20th, he ceases to be the president. He ceases to be the president even if the election's still in dispute, and is not.
Okay.
And if January 20th came and the election was not certified, you know who becomes the president? Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi becomes president if they do not certify the election.
I didn't know that. See, I don't know nothing about these politics. That's why I call them politics.
And you know Trump don't want
that. Is right. That is right. Take me back to social studies. That's crazy. And they really don't want that.
Oh, God, no. God, no. They don't want that. So Nancy becomes president. That will not happen. But yeah, January 20th, nobody listens to him anymore. He's done. He's done. Now, there's some question about some of the stuff he's done recently, like people he's put in the Department of Defense. People wonder why I make friends with the people I do. It's because they're in places that I can call them up and ask them what's going on. And I got friends in the Department of Defense. So I called them up.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's how I was able to call you. How you doing?
No, that's right.
I called and said, what's up with, they removed Esper, who was in charge of the Department of Defense. Now, Esper this summer, when people were protesting in the park outside the White House, Trump called Esper and said, send out the troops and remove those people. And Esper said, I've read the Constitution. I ain't violating it. So Esper refused to send troops to remove mostly black folks from in front of the White House. So Trump was gunning for him to begin with. So he fired him. Then he went down the line and he fired all these other people that are in the Department of Defense in what people think was an attempt to try and stage a coup. They thought he was going to try and call up the military to basically stop Biden from taking office. Well, I made some more calls and they basically said the line troops aren't doing it. Nobody's got his back on this. So that part of it we don't have to worry about. But I don't know what he thinks he's going to do. Well, no. Let me not diminish myself like that. I don't know what he thinks because I have working brain cells. So he's gone. He's gone. He can do all these dirty tricks. He's trying to put people in so they have jobs before he goes. But what I wanted to get to about the idea that he's going to leave before the 20th, there are people in the White House that believe that he gets that he's lost. He's not going to concede, and we don't require a concession. But what he's going to do is before January, actually now they're saying it's Christmas. They're saying he will go to Mar-a-Lago for Christmas and just not come back. But in the meantime, what he will do is he will cut a deal with Mike Pence. And in exchange for his resignation, Mike Pence gets to be president for 30-some days. and he pardons Trump on all the federal charges. So then he won't be facing federal charges when he comes out. Well, that's nice. But the state of New York is coming for him. What is it, Letitia Harris, Letitia Baldwin? There's a black woman that's the attorney general in the state of New York, and she ain't no joke. So she's coming for him for tax fraud, for all kinds of corporate fraud. Ivanka's going to get hit. Jared's going to get hit. All of those people that were a party to that corporation are looking at hard time when they come back to New York, because they're going to indict him. And Pence can't pardon state charges. So what he'd have to do is go to Mar-a-Lago. Pence pardons him. Pence is president for 15 minutes. And then he's going to have to leave the country because New York is coming for him. Now, Cuomo could pardon him. but
that ain't happening. I don't see that happening.
As bad as Trump has treated him, no, there ain't anything he could do that would talk Cuomo into pardoning him on these state charges. So, so he's in trouble. So I believe he's going before January 20th.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I was reading, I can't remember which article, but they were saying in this article, they had wrote, let me take it back a little bit. When you said that President Trump was shocked that he was even a president because he was just branding himself. Now, they were saying that once he gets out of office, that this is alleged, okay? And I'm using air quotes, but this is alleged that he would charge $1 million for speaking engagements. And they predicted that Melania, if she divorces him, she could get up to $1 million per speaking engagement, or if she writes a tell-all book, she can get money for speaking engagement. So who
in crayon? She gonna write it in crayon? In Slovenian?
See. look at Nick. Nick like I ain't even got to say that. I don't even have to say that. But that's what they are saying. The people, who are they? We all know, but they.
That would be the hope.
So that he could pay off his massive debt. I mean, he
owes $1 billion to Deutsche Bank. What we need to be scared of is that he has no principles. So all of that top secret information that he has, he'd be perfectly willing to sell it to try and save himself from Deutsche Bank. Because if Deutsche Bank comes in and decides they're going to take that money, they taking everything. They taking the apartment in New York. They taking Mar-a-Lago. They taking all of this stuff. And he doesn't have any money. That's why right now you hear him talking about, I'm going to run in 2024. If he announces now that he's running in 2024, he can keep collecting campaign funds. People can keep sending him money, and he can continue to grift off of that money. That's the reason he's saying that nonsense about I'm going to run in 2024, is because he intends to keep collecting campaign funds. And I don't know who these people are he thinks are going to pay him to speak. I will give you $50, and that would put me outside, to hear Michelle Obama speak. I would give you $100 to hear Barack Obama speak. Homeboy don't speak in complete sentences. I wouldn't give you 50 cents to hear him say, I quit. He does. So, and his collection of red hats, the people who support him, they're not coughing up $100 to come hear him speak. Hell, they had to be bussed in. They were so cheap, they had to be bussed in to hear him speak for free. But yeah, that would be the plan. But who wants to hear it? I mean, even his fanboys, who wants to hear it?
I have a question about this so-called voter fraud.
Okay.
I saw where there was an argument back and forth on a relative's page, and the one Trump supporter called herself bringing in receipts, and she listed all these Google Docs. And I said, anybody can make a Google Doc. Girl, come on now. Give me some real credible. Well, this is you, because you guys always believe in everything the news and the media put out. Well, what do you think you're doing? with your so-called docs. But she listed all these, and I have to go back and find it, or I'm going to ask my cousin to send it to me. Well, you can check it for yourself. All these so-called Google Docs. I'm like, well, where did you get them from? Did you get them from the court? Where'd you get these so-called documents from, stating voter fraud and all of these different states saying this and that? I get so sick of these people on the WKBN website and WFMJ that is fighting for Trump, and it was fraud. It was, and then they're listing their so-called sources, but then they're steady telling the Democrats, you believe everything you hear on the news, Fox is fake news, and CNN, this and that, you believe everything. Well, where are you getting your sources from? I don't understand. So you're telling Democrats not to believe everything they hear, but you're believing. I don't understand people, but are there so-called documents that people are so-called getting their hands on? I already know it's not, but for the listening audience, just in case we have one or two Trumpies out there that believe the hype, can you please let them know? Especially since you do have friends in high places. I love that. Yes!
Here's the thing. If you believe there's voter fraud, then you have to believe places like Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, which all have Republican secretaries of state. That's who's in charge of the elections. Decided somehow that they were going to either not commit enough fraud to have their boy win, or that they were going to let Democrats commit fraud against them. So I don't have to go to CNN to figure out that if a Republican in Georgia who has been stuck like glue to Donald Trump, if a Republican in Georgia says, yeah, there was no fraud, that he's lying. All over the country. People would, and the margins are like, I think the smallest margin that Biden won in the states that he won in is like 10,000 votes. That means you had to find 10,000 people, none of whom are talking, to go vote fraudulently for Joe Biden. That's like the lowest margin. So you had to commit fraud on a massive scale and then talk secretaries of state into risking going to jail to perpetrate this fraud. So I don't have to look at your Google Docs or anything like that. I know human nature. If Republicans wanted Trump to win, the fraud would have been for Trump to win. And it's just not that coordinated. It's just not.
Okay. Now,
thank you.
Look, you said thank you. I have a viewer that actually asked the question, is there something that legally that could be done for him saying, he's putting questions in, and I'm trying to rephrase this, putting questions in the American people's mind as far as saying that it's fraud, have you questioning the democracy? Is there something that can be done legally to him for saying fraud, knowing that it wasn't just because he's a sore loser? That's how it's written.
Okay.
I got you.
Here's the problem. You can't sue somebody for saying stupid things.
Okay.
If you could, I'd be a trillionaire because I'd have a billion clients.
But why he trying to sue? Why is he? Wouldn't that be like what is it, taking advantage of the judicial system? Like, wouldn't that be what he's doing right now? It's not fraudulent, but you just want to buy time, so you're just suing, like misuse of the judicial system. Let me get grammatically correct.
He's a petty heifer. He's petty. So he sent lawyers in. Yeah, I'd have used another word, but I figured your show is clean. Anyhow, he sent lawyers in to try and argue that they were fraud, and they came up with some affidavits that said things like, the poll workers said things like, well, they came in wearing Black Lives Matter shirts and I felt intimidated. It's like, well, that's too bad, but that's not fraud. Now, here's his latest problem. The lawyers that he sent, he wants them to make allegations that they were fraud. And fraud has a legal standard that says it has to be by clear and convincing evidence. It can't be just some minor, maybe you're right. It has to be clear and convincing. Now, he sent his lawyers in to argue that there were fraud, and the lawyers know there's no fraud. So now what's happening is these law firms that sent in lawyers are now looking and going, well, we know there's no fraud, but we got licenses. We're not going to stand in front of judges and say there was fraud when we know for a fact that there wasn't, because we will lose our licenses. So as of yesterday, 2 of the firms that Trump has hired to defend these suits have filed notices to withdraw. Because it's like, no, I like having a license to practice, and I'm not going down for you. So they can't gin up enough to make it. And these judges are laughing them out of court. And there's one judge, Judge Diamond, that's probably about an inch away from sanctioning lawyers in his court about telling these lies. Because they don't have any proof. In any given year in a national election, at best, there's been shown maybe between 2% and 4% fraud. 2% and 4% in a country where we had over 150 million people vote.
Which is the largest ever.
Yeah. Yeah, the turnout on this was amazing. But he has to overcome a margin of 6 million votes nationally to say he won. That you can't coordinate a 6 million person fraud and not have people tell. It doesn't work like that. Right.
Okay, well, I thank you. Look, I thank you for clearing that part up, because I was like, shouldn't it be something legal? Like, what is that? Like, I can't go out and just slander somebody's name, or defame their character. Can't they sue me for that? Like, how do you do that to the entire democracy? See, that's why I was like, shouldn't it be something legal? Like, and I'm glad they asked that question. I appreciate it.
Well, there is a question about, and the problem has been who's in a position to sue. For instance, the Trump Hotel that's in the old National Post Office, the lease specifically says no government official can hold it. Well, Trump holds it. So the question is, we got to figure out who's hurt by him basically doing that in order to sue. You have to have the right person to sue. But we've been ripped off as a country by this man, left, right, and center. We're paying for golf carts, for Secret Service agents to follow him around on the golf course, on his golf course. It would have cost him nothing to say, yeah, take the golf carts and follow me around. You're here to protect me. But no, he's charging the government for golf carts. And that money indirectly comes to him. He's charging for hotel rooms at his resorts for his staff to stay. And he's charging us. That's tax money. He has ripped us off in so many ways, it'll be years before we figure out how much.
He going to jail.
So
right?
I need clarity. So, holding a position, let's say the layperson, me. Mm-hmm. I'm holding a position here, but I'm padding my pocket for shop talk. We're holding this position. That
if you were a government official,
okay,
and this is Youngstown, so we know that this happened because.
Listen, you crazy. Because in my head, I was like, it was like a light bulb just went off. I need like a cartoon. Boom! I think I remember that. Okay.
Okay, so if you're a government official and you have your agency sign a contract to say rent a building, but as it happens, you own the building, that's public corruption.
I knew it was something. I knew it was something. See, I'm not an attorney. That's why I got you on there. I knew it was something that you're not allowed to do. I was like, that just don't seem right. I mean, it's too good to be true. Okay.
They violated so many laws that it would almost be impossible to prosecute them for everything. Every single hatch violation, every single violation of the Emoluments Clause, every single violation of the Federal Secrets Act, the things they have told people. It would be 6 more lifetimes before you could prosecute all of them for everything they violated. And they got away with it because the Republican Senate let them get away with it. Mitch McConnell is as guilty as Donald Trump for all of this as anybody. Well, Mitch McConnell just turned his head and let him do whatever he wanted to do. That's why those 2 seats in Georgia, there are 2 Senate seats that are still unfilled.
Empty. Mm-hmm.
And there's a runoff in January for those 2 seats. If the Democrats can take those 2 seats, the Senate will be 50-50 Republicans and Democrats. And the deciding vote on any tie is who?
Pelosi.
Kamala Harris.
Oh, is it? It's the vice president?
Yes.
I thought it was Pelosi.
The vice president comes down
and say yay or nay
to the Senate and breaks the tie. Oh, they are fighting, and they're fighting so hard to take those 2 seats because that's the only way Mitch McConnell can stay in control. So if your listeners want to do something about saving this country, send money to John Ossoff and Warnock. Those are the 2 Democrats that are running in Georgia. Send money to those 2 campaigns. Do phone bankings for those 2 campaigns. Because it'd be worth the money to watch their heads explode every time Kamala comes down to break the tie.
Yes.
No, knowing that they don't like her. The guys don't like her. I've never seen where it is that many men that are not for Kamala or Kamala. Tamala. Because I'm like, I know Tamala, so Kamala.
The best way to remember how to pronounce it is it's Kamala. So like Kamala, C-O-M, Kamala. So,
because I've never heard her say it. If I could hear her say her name, then I would know for sure. But it's Kamala. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, maybe it's just the accent, Pamela, because it's spelled just with a K. We do Pamela, we do Tamala, Kamala. That's probably why. Okay, Kamala, Pamela.
Yeah.
The accent.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of people that's really upset. And I've never seen that many guys upset. They calling her all kind of hoes and everything. Do y'all know her? And why are you so... And here's what's really interesting. She was his running mate. You call her all the names. I don't like to call people names, but I mean, we have magazines. We have visual aids that's showing us what our first lady is into or was into. You know what I mean? But then you say something off a hearsay and you run with it and you don't know. It was a guy that actually, he had commented under some site or something. And he pretty much said that she slept her way to the top. Am I frozen? Because y'all frozen. Okay, we there? What do you call a woman who slept her... Okay, what do you call a woman who slept her way to the top? And he had her name, and they thought that was funny. I said, I call her educated, successful, and she happens to enjoy sex. She chose the right ones. Let's be real. If you're going to say that she slept her way to the top, at least she slept with somebody and not the dude next door, the dude across town. I call her intelligent, educated. She got her degree and she's successful and mission accomplished. The end.
What?
But yet still,
Go
the
ahead.
same people, they've seen all the first lady, the present first lady.
That's what I'm saying.
And they have nothing to say. Oh, that
They
was
turn
in
their
her
head.
past, or that was art. She's a model. Man, miss me with it. Because you have visual evidence of this hoe. And yes, I did say hoe. Mel put out that disclaimer at the beginning of the show, so we going to run with
I
that
said
one.
it too. I said it too.
Visual evidence of this hoe, but you call him the president, the vice president-elect a hoe, and you ain't got no evidence. Miss me with it. I could say something else, but I'm going to stop there. Because yeah.
Go ahead, Kim.
Well, if she was a hoe, if Kamala was a hoe, she's the most proficient hoe that's ever existed, because she got elected Attorney General of the state of California. The state of California has one of the largest economies in the world. She got elected state Attorney General, which took, I don't know, 500,000 votes. What you saying? She slept with all of them too? And then she got elected United States Senator. What, did she sleep with the million or so people that voted her into the Senate? If that's what you're saying, that she slept her way to the top, she is the most proficient hoe you have ever encountered. Give her props.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Give it to her. That's what I said. I call it successful.
Thank you.
Like gold medals.
Like a bunch of them.
But you know what's so interesting?
But she's not.
And what's interesting is that to even say that, you don't know. Just because somebody dates somebody don't mean that they slept with all of them. You know what I mean? Right. Just because, you go out, that doesn't mean they slept. Were you in the room? Did you have visual aid?
My thing to that, right. And my thing to that is, if she did sleep with him, she's a grown-ass woman. That's her business. Stay out of grown folks' business.
You just like stay out of grown folks' business?
Exactly. Stay out of grown folks' business.
I don't care who she slept with. I don't care who she slept with. Because that didn't get her elected to the AG's office or the Senate. I don't care who she slept with. But if we don't start using that standard, then Donald Trump couldn't have been elected dog catcher. He got 26 allegations of rape. That's outstanding right now. One of them has gotten permission to continue her libel suit, because it's too late to sue him for rape. But when he lies on you for it happening, then you get to sue him for libel. E. Jean Carroll, who was a columnist for Elle magazine, said that she was in New York. She was shopping. She ran into him in, I don't know, Saks or something like that. And I guess she was being flirtatious with him. And he ended up in the dressing room and slammed her against the wall and stuck his hands in her hoo-ha. Now, that happened many years ago. The statute of limitations for that crime is over. But when he called her a liar, that revived the statute for her to sue him for slander. So now all that's coming out. And I got to ask, because I don't understand it. How is it that these white women, when they get attacked or have sex with men in high places, always manage to keep the dress with some DNA on it?
Who's keeping the dress?
Well, Monica Lewinsky kept her dress.
We know that.
And E. Jean Carroll, huh?
We know that.
Back with Bill Clinton.
Yes.
Back when Bill Clinton was accused of having an affair with her, and it was a consensual affair. I ain't mad at it. I'm mad at his taste, because he do pick some homely women, but I ain't mad at him. That was a consensual affair, and that wasn't none of our business.
Let me add to this. You talking about with Monica Lewinsky?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to say this, because everybody's so free. I'm just going to put something in there, throw it in there. They're so free with bobbing for apples. At least she can say, I bobbed the presidents. You know what I mean? If you're going to suck a dizzle, at least let it be the president. See, here again, with you talking about Kamala, you know what I mean? Kamala, she was quite successful. Y'all talking about she slept her way to the top. Well, it wasn't Joe Blow from under the bridge. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the dude on the corner. Like, I ain't matter, but I don't know why they keep the dress, but to keep the dress, you have plans. See, that's the difference.
Exactly.
They have plans to use that. What is that? When you that's not extortion.
Premeditated.
Well, we know it was premeditated, but blackmail.
Blackmail, yeah.
They never did. Even Monica Lewinsky didn't blackmail him. I don't know what she.
Why you keeping the dress? Oh, a souvenir. It's a souvenir for her grandkids to let them know. Look, I did suck the president's dizzle. Here go the dress right here. Is it proof?
Send your mess to the dry cleaner. Send it to the dry cleaner. But both of them, E. Jean Carroll has a coat that has the president's DNA on it. So she got him dead to rights.
And he got out. And he got off.
About people's sexual proclivities. Donald Trump paid a porn star $140,000 to keep her mouth shut about having had sex with her while Melania was pregnant.
And that ain't enough money.
Hey.
Because had it been me, bruh, you got to make monthly payments, and it got to be at least $1 million.
Now, Kim, you said the statute of limitation had already passed. How did they get to go back?
For a criminal act.
For a criminal act. Oh, okay. That's why Bill Cosby's locked up, because I'm confused here. Help me. Help us.
Okay. Bill Cosby got convicted of one count. And that one count, when the victim came forward, the prosecutor that was in office cut a deal with Bill Cosby not to bring charges. I don't know whether there was campaign money involved. I don't know. But when that person left office, the prosecutor that came in said, I'm not bound by this deal. I didn't sign this deal. So when they discovered that this charge was still viable and still around, that's when they brought the charges against him for the one victim. So how you count the time running depends on when you discover the crime and how long the statute is. I don't know if PA's statute got extended or not. There are some crimes that, for instance, the crime of murder, there is no statute of limitations. If you kill somebody at 18 and you live to 75 and they don't figure it out till you're 75, they can still bring those murder charges.
Okay.
A lot of states have changed their statutes of limitations on sex crimes. For instance, Ohio, if you're victimized as a juvenile, so somebody does something to you as a juvenile, you have 6 years after you turn 18 to bring those charges. And that's because, maybe your parents didn't let you, or you were afraid, or you were a child, or whatever. So they extended the statute on those crimes so that victims could actually get the nerve to come forward.
And there should be no statute. There really shouldn't on anything like that. There shouldn't be.
Okay, so you're just waiting until, like, you're 18, you're an adult now, and now you feel like, okay, I can actually say what happened to me.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And think about it. If you were 15 years old and you went to your parents and said, some grown man took advantage of me, your parents would probably do what most parents do and say, oh, we don't want to stir that up. We don't want to, put that out in the community. We're just trying to protect you. Well, when you get to be 18 and you're on your own, you start thinking, that wasn't your right to make that decision about me being victimized. And so that's why after you turn 18, you can go forward with the charge.
Okay, good. And that is something where parents, they're like, keep it hush hush. They used to keep that hush hush back in the day. It'd be somebody's uncle or whoever, and they don't want to, put it out there for people to be in their business, or what is it? What goes on in this house stays in this house. Meanwhile, somebody is hurt.
I'm glad I ain't have parents like that.
Yeah, but, you have the child that's hurt, and they no coping skills because they didn't have anybody to turn to for an outlet, and then they become grown, and then they end up doing like him. I ain't going. Spoiled brat. Petty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really think that I believe that he went through the grieving process when he lost the election. I'm back to our President Trump. And reading a little bit of his niece's book, I said, oh, okay, it's kind of putting the pieces together. Not that everybody should, you know what I mean? I said, he can't lose. And I really feel like he went through a grieving process. And I said it last week on the show when Dr. Camila Marie was on. And I said, I think he kind of was going through the grieving process, and that's why he wasn't talking. So why do you think, Attorney Kim Akins, why do you think he was quiet for so long? Because he just came out last night and made a statement.
Losing a political race is hard on anybody. It's hard on anybody.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It is really, really hard. It is really hard to realize that you put in all this effort and you didn't succeed. So it's tough.
I think it's hard when you add extra and I won and come see me and blah, 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 blah prior to, if you think that you've won. I think that that's when you go missing and you on the back of a milk carton. Because that's why I was like, well, where's President Trump on the back of a milk carton? Like, where did he go? You know, what happened here? I think that would be, but you said it's just hard.
He is not used to
You just said that it's just hard losing.
To lose that way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, because of the money's invested or what? Why is it so hard? Tell me.
You broke up. Well, it's hard for anybody, but it's really hard for him because he's never been told no. What we know from Mary Trump's book is that he has never been denied anything. No one has ever held him accountable. And he was taught by his father and his grandfather to never say you're sorry, to never back down, to never admit failure, to never admit that you were wrong. So he was taught that as a child. So now here we are. He won on a fluke. He's done everything that people have told him he was not supposed to do in that office and not been held accountable. And now, November 3rd, 2020, the people of America said, we ain't your daddy. We gonna do what we want to do. So they voted him out. So he's in shock because the other part of it is, not only has he never been told no, the only people that have been around him for 4 years are people who are telling him yes. Yes, you're wonderful. Yes, everything you say is right. Yes, you're so smart. You know, you can do no wrong. So for 4 years, you've had people blowing smoke up his butt and going to these rallies where these thousands of people think everything he says is brilliant. And then come November 3rd, 6 million more people go, not so fast, buddy. They don't. So he does not get. I mean, he's had 4 years of nobody telling him, yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, you sound stupid. Yeah, that's discriminatory. Nobody's told him that for 4 years. So now what happened on Election Day is the people of the United States said, no, we're tired of your nonsense. So he's in shock. He's in shock that people actually hate him because he hadn't heard it for 4 years.
That's because too many people was kissing his butt to keep his job. I ain't never been one to kiss nobody but whether it meant my job or not. He didn't have the right people because if he had somebody like me, no, you wrong, you sound like a fool. Listen, I'd have been.
You wouldn't have been in his camp.
No.
You wouldn't have been in his camp, Nick. You wouldn't have got hired.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have been in the first string.
I wouldn't have got hired, or if I was already there, he'd have fired me within 5 minutes. Because as soon as he opened, shut up, you sound like a fool. Yeah, that's because people have been kissing his behind to keep their job. Sometimes it's not worth being a kiss ass. Excuse my French. And that was one of those times that it was not worth it. I heard the bell.
You heard
That's
me.
really this. Yes, I did. But that was one of the times that it was not worth kissing anybody's butt to keep your job. I'm sorry. Something should have been done about him within the first year. But a lot of people was like, well, no, because we don't want Mike Pence to be president. You don't know what Mike Pence would have done. We really don't know what people are only assuming. We don't know. He might have done a much better job than Donald Trump. We don't know that.
What's your thoughts on that, Kim?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody, much of what Donald Trump got away with, he got away with because of Mitch McConnell providing cover. Because the Senate could have come after him every day after day one, and they never did. But because they got what they wanted. What Mitch McConnell let him do, he let him do in exchange for all of those federal judgeships that got filled with incompetent conservatives who will now, for the duration of your children's lifetimes, be able to affect federal policy. Mitch McConnell put in over 114 federal judges who are appointed for life. For life. So those people stay as long as they want to stay. And those people have been vetted to basically not believe in the things that Democrats believe in. They don't believe in civil rights. They don't believe in women's rights. They don't believe in gay rights. They don't believe that poor people should triumph over corporations. They don't believe that corporations can do anything wrong. They don't believe in climate change. Those people are in there for life. So that's enough of an effect on the entire federal government that McConnell put up with what Donald Trump did. Because that's what they wanted. So now all of those things that we thought were normal, that we thought were just a part of our ordinary landscape, are now at risk. You got judges sitting on the federal court that don't believe you have a right to birth control. That the government should be able to tell you whether you can have birth control.
Now see, with that, there you go. Look, that birth control, that hits something for me as far as them being against abortion. Now, my thing is, look, I got to go on something else there. With the, you don't believe in abortion, you believe in pro-life, but let's keep it 100. But you don't want to pay, you don't want to feed them. So keep your baby, but I don't want to feed them. You know what I'm saying?
I'll
go ahead.
I'll go you one better than that. If I'm pro-life, that means that once you get here, you should be entitled to some quality of life. But the same people that are telling you that you can't abort a fetus, a zygote, are perfectly willing to vote, and they had a vote in the cabinet, to put migrant children in cages. Children in cages. There are now over 600 children that they have no idea where these children's parents are. They are orphans of the state now, who will never know who their families were. That ain't pro-life. That ain't pro-life. That's nonsense. You know, and you know, I have problems with pro-life people anyhow, because it's not really about the fetus. Right. It's about controlling women. It's about women not being able to make choices about their own lives.
Absolutely. And I'm going to add to that. I'll tell you what my thought, and this is just my thought. Okay. And look, it is not the thoughts of the guests or the staff at Shop Talk with Mel. This is what I'm thinking. You know, I'm like, okay, you're pro-life. Why are you so pro-life? And you are right, Kim, trying to tell me what to do with my body, but you won't even wear a mask. And then you're sitting up there with guns talking about I'm not wearing a mask, which is a piece of material. And you want me to say, you want to tell me, okay, well, you have to have that child, but you don't want to feed that child. You know what I mean? Let's be realistic. And this is what I think. I'm looking at usually, and I'm saying usually, so this is broad, but I'm just going to say it. Usually people, they have the tendency to, with Caucasian families, they plan their families. Now you don't want the people that usually use the Planned Parenthood and all those, you know, different organizations that are out there for us. You don't want us to plan our families. Why is that? Like, again, I'll say, you don't want to feed them when they get here. We sitting there trying to feed them. You like, no, we're going to cut the food stamps. We're going to cut this. We're going to cut that. How am I supposed to survive? Why? Because you need more slaves? Because we are now planning our family. And if you don't know your history, you bound to repeat it. So you got the other babies that's coming in and coming up because our young people, and please educate your young people. I'm going to tell on everywhere, all the social media sites that's actually viewing and the listening audience. Educate your children. This younger generation, I'm not going to say all of you, but most of you, y'all got these shirts out here and I get it. It says happiness over history. I seen it and I get a little bit of it, but I need you to know your history. I wasn't okay when I cannot wear it because I'm like happiness over history. You have to know your history. You could be happy right now. Otherwise, your offsprings will be a slave because here again, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. And there's a lot of people that's sitting there partying and having a good time. Bam, there it go. And she'll be coming on next. You have that, but it's like, no, you're giving. And the younger generation, entrepreneurship mindset, they definitely have. But their younger ones won't know, listen, we used to be, and I didn't say I meant, listen, it just ran together. Let me clear that up. I'll be digging myself. They'll be like, listen, we did this. We used to be kings and queens. We had it going on. Okay. And then all of a sudden, boom, we end up becoming slaves. How do we become slaves? Not from the white dude, because we watching out for them. We making sure, you're the enemy. Let me see what kind of games you had. It is usually your friends or people that look like you. Listen, yes, Nick is right. It's our own people. Usually your friends is the one to introduce you to drugs. Your friend like, hey girl, we going on a cruise. You want to come? And you be like, what's going on? We going over where? Yeah, we going on the cruise. You get on the ship and then next thing you know, you in shackles. Get your life. Please, please, please teach your children, teach your grandchildren, teach them. Get off the bar stools and teach them. And everybody ain't on the bar stool, but yes, get off the bar stool, teach them. Quit partying. Hopefully y'all ain't partying right now because y'all know Uncle DeWine is probably looking through a window like us. Sit down. How many people in there? Okay. But please teach your youth. Listen, let them know they are wonderful. And there is a lot of people that do give positive affirmations to their children, but let them know where they came from. Shout out to you, Miss Peace. She taught me Black history in elementary and I got really, really involved. I was like, this is interesting. Wow, I can't believe that we went through that because I didn't see that. I had the mother that I had, which was lovely and was very nice to me. However, my Black history came from a librarian, Miss Peace, who actually said, look, so school was teaching me Black history. My mother was teaching me my ABCs and all that stuff, the education part of it, but that's where I got it from. So for those of you who don't allow people to speak into your children, elderly people, this is my child, don't talk to my child. Listen, when they say it's a village, my mother says that too. It takes a village to raise a child. Listen, it takes a village. I ain't saying go to their house because it's a whole lot of extra stuff going on in folks' houses now and people are a little different and indifferent. You got your Uncle Pete's and all of them. You know what I mean? But listen, sit your child there. Don't say, okay, this is a grown folks conversation. What are you conversing about? And let that little person sit there. I was that little person that sat there and I learned so much from my older cousins, from my aunts, from people being out there. There's some things that you try to conceal, and protect your young people from seeing, but they need to see that. My son never seen New Jack City. Now, guess what? I was like, you didn't? I was like, what? I seen that. But my daughter did. You know what I mean? So she know. She ain't playing. My son will be like, here, use my cell phone. Not a problem. My daughter like, everybody got a cell phone. Why do you need my cell phone? Where, you know what I mean? So I have the two different,
That's
and I'm speaking
right there.
Yeah. And I'm speaking to myself as well. I'm speaking to myself. We have to take time and say, okay, wait a minute, because before you know it, boom, they're 18 out on their own and they could be taken advantage of. But please, 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 back to what I was saying and what you were saying, Kim, as far as like pro-life, why? Why are you so adamant about pro-life when it's yours? And I went to a predominantly white school, and that's where the abortions was jumping off at. Truth be told, you know what I mean?
Well, if you can remove women from the economy, the thought is that you can put men back in those jobs. The truth of the matter is, women got jobs that men wouldn't take anyway.
Yeah, but we populate the earth.
The effort to try and remove women from the economy. And if you can do that, then men can take those jobs and they can assume their rightful place as the head of the household and control everything that goes on, because she has no access to money of her own. And
we wouldn't have a world without women.
This one is important.
Go ahead.
I understand that, but part of what they're basing that on is gone anyhow, because the idea that you could walk in and get a job at a steel mill and make enough money to support a household in those kind of jobs, those days are gone mostly. Mm-hmm. So they were concerned about women coming in, taking those kind of jobs away from men and basically removing men as being able to control the whole household because they had access to the money. But let me do this, and let me get back to Amy Coney Barrett.
Okay.
If you don't believe in abortion, that's one thing. But the right to abortion is based in this idea that you have a personal right to privacy. That there are some decisions that are so personal that the government has no business in them. If Amy Coney Barrett and 4 other people on the Supreme Court do not believe that you have a right to privacy, that means that not only can you not get an abortion, that the government can determine whether you can buy birth control, whether you can use birth control, whether you have a right to, I don't know, things as weird as domestic violence. Because if you don't have a right to privacy, you probably don't have a right to defend yourself in your own household. So they're not just trying to undo Roe. They're trying to undo any rights that you say you believe you have about the government not interfering in your life. So it's abortion, it's birth control, it's who you marry, where you live. All of that flows from some cases that support Roe. So if they go back and say you don't have a right to privacy, ladies, you better stock up on a bunch of birth control, because that's the next thing that's going. And people like Mike Pence believe that in a dominionist way, that you're not entitled to control your body that way as a woman. And that's what that's what some of those folks are gunning for. So we got a lot of those judges on the bench. We got a lot of those people that think that those rights are not yours. So that's why McConnell let Trump do what he did, because it allowed McConnell to put all of these unqualified, and yes, many of them are unqualified. They even removed, the American Bar Association used to vet people that were nominated for the federal court. So they would review their record, look at what they tried, look at what cases they've done, look to see whether they were well rated, and then make a recommendation about somebody before they were nominated to the federal court. McConnell removed that. So a lot of the people that went up were rated unqualified to sit on the bench.
Question.
Amy, yeah.
I got to wrap up this segment. So
regain control.
Uh-huh.
Okay. If the Democrats regain control, some of these Supreme Court judges, can they be removed? Because I know you said they're for a lifetime. Can they be removed if Democrats regain control?
You could impeach a federal judge. You could impeach a federal judge for something like perjury. And it's been talked about that Kavanaugh flat out lied during his confirmation hearing. He lied, The 3 F's, I can't say what it is the 3 F's are that he claimed he didn't know what it was. He knew what it was. So he lied during his confirmation hearing. If there were enough votes to claim that he committed perjury,
okay,
they could remove him. We have removed federal judges before. Alfie Hastings was a federal judge who was removed from the bench for corruption, I think it was. Of course, he turned around and ran in his district for Congress and won. But okay. But so you can remove a federal judge. If they make a big enough mistake, you can remove them. But it takes a lot of the Senate to do it.
Okay. Well, Kim, you can chill with us, or do you have to pack?
I'm packing.
She's packing. I thank you for coming on.
I had a plan.
I
had a plan that if the election had gone wrong, I was leaving the country this week. So the election went right. I'm still leaving the country for a little while.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on. Safe travels to you tonight. And I told it, Kim, you know how I feel. Thank you so very much. Listen, I love this show. I was talking about happiness over history. So guess what, lovely people? I got the girl who actually did the show, did that T-shirt. So I want you guys to give it up to the lovely DeJan, and she is actually the owner of Like Me Skincare. For the listening audience, you guys can't see, but for the viewers, can you hold up that shirt again? That was you that had that shirt. I know that I seen it. I knew I saw it. I was like, happiness over history, like a division. Yeah. But you heard what I said about it. I like the shirt though, but you heard what I said about it.
I hear what you said, but I think so. I have 2 businesses, and that was part of my T-shirt line. It's called Queen Tees. And the reason I created this shirt is because I said I finally chose happiness over history. And it wasn't just like, it's about a lot of things. Being at a job for too long and not getting the promotion you deserve. Being in a situation too long and not getting the things that you feel you deserve or that you worked for. I've trained people and I've watched them get promoted to the job that I should do. And I'm still helping them. And, it was one thing I had to do when I was in New York, even with the military. I was doing, as a specialist at E4, I was doing work of an E7 and of a captain. And I was briefing 2-star and 3-star generals while my captain and them are back here because they don't know how to do my job. I was the only one with my job in my battalion, but they didn't want to promote me.
Thank you for your
service. I made the
service.
decision. I have a year. Huh?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. But I have a year left on the contract, but I made the decision not to re-enlist. And they're like, you're such a great soldier. Why? I'm like, if I'm such a great soldier, I have nothing to show for it.
My brother went through the same thing.
Okay, hold on, Nick. So your happiness over history is not the history of our nation.
No, my happiness over history is being that I felt like I had to stay in these terrible situations, whether it's relationships, jobs, business, because I've invested so much time. I was like, it has to pay off, and it wasn't, and I wasn't happy. So I quit all of my jobs. When I was in New York, I told the military, I'm going to go inactive for a little while. I moved with nothing. I had no plans. I moved down to Georgia with a family member, and within 6 months, I got a home that I wanted. I got my career job that I've been trying to get in for 10 years. And it's like I finally chose me and my happiness, what makes me happy over, everything that I've had, over the history with this person or with this company or with this business or whatever. And that's what I did. And that's why I put I was like, I should do a blog. So I do have it on my website, just explaining why I came up with these designs. Because every T-shirt is my original design, and it's something that deals with a portion of my life. So that was that portion. It was like, you know what? I was at these jobs 5 years, 7 years, 6 years, relationship 3 years, and just wasn't getting what I felt I deserved out of it. So I was just like, and I wasn't happy. So I just left. And it was like, I don't know where I'm going, what it is, but I'm out. So
Listen,
that's my happiness over history, not so much
the nations. I got you. Listen, I love the show. Way to listen in. Way to listen in. Like, Hey, listen, if you guys want in on the conversation, you guys know what to do. I love the listening audience. I love my lives that's on there. Look, listening to me today. I see all you lovely people's comments. So keep it going. And I am on all your favorite podcasts under Let's Shop Talk. So make sure you do that. Now, you said that you were tired of doing something for someone else, and you actually said, I'm getting ready to do me. And the reason I'm going to say that is because you have a line called Like Me. And I was actually using this stuff earlier. Let me tell y'all something. For the listening audience, I actually use whipped body butter, and it's fragrance free because I'm allergic to everything. And it's Like Me skincare. So a cousin of mine actually came and she was using your product. So this is a young lady who has a skin line, and she's out of Columbia, Georgia. So she can mail you the product. Hometown, Youngstown, Ohio. Give it up to the lovely people. We got some talented folk up in here. First I was looking and I was like, how much is that? I was like, $10. Jeez Louise. However, this whipped body butter, I was putting it on my elbows because I lean a lot. And me leaning actually showed see this elbow right here? I don't lean on my left. See that one? You can see the difference. Actually, I use the whipped body butter, and my right elbow, it used to be a little blacker. It's getting a little lighter. So shout out to Like Me Skincare. And me leaning on leaning on my right elbow again. Yep. That's my position of comfort. And lack of blood flow, that's why it turns dark. But it seems like the color is coming back. And I only need just a little bit. Nick, pull your elbows up. Let me see what you're working with.
Ooh, child ashiness right now.
Oh, but your elbows aren't bad. But let me I'm going to put this out here. A little commercial. Look, a little commercial on me. Whipped body butter, Like Me. It is just a little bit. Now, y'all see my elbows. It's my right elbow. Now, some of y'all, with y'all young people, I was talking about it a little earlier. You be on your knees a lot. But you can use this here whipped body butter cream. See, Nick, right? It's Nick. And your knees will be back right. Okay? Your knees will be back right. So y'all go ahead and cop this. This whip, I got to get some too.
That statement could go somewhere.
Yeah, it could go somewhere. Look at Nick like, yeah. But that's okay, because we have whipped body butter. Like Me skincare. Get it, and it'll work. And it's not greasy. It's not greasy, oily. It's once it kind of absorbs in your skin. Now, tell me this. I know your history. The listening audience probably don't know your history. We got somebody that's degree in the science field. So what made you want to start your own skincare line? Because I know it's for it's all natural.
Yeah, it's Like Me natural skincare. Honestly, it has nothing to do with my degrees. I was
when you in the kitchen mixing ingredients.
Yeah, well, that
I'm just saying that. Go ahead.
But when I was deployed, I was in an engineer battalion. So we built things. So we were in 7 different countries, and I'm actually commo, which is communications. I do computer stuff, all that. Anything that plugs into a wall, they expect me to know how to do it. So I actually had to travel, and then I was the photographer as well. So I traveled to a couple different countries that we were in. So the water over there, the climate, I don't know why everyone thinks it's dry heat. It's not. It was 128 degrees every day. A cool day was 111. That was our 70-degree weather. So with that, the sand, and then they put different chemicals in the water to kind of make it safe for us to use. it started to break me out really bad, and I was getting dry patches everywhere. And we only have access to so much stuff over there. And then you would try to get things shipped to you, but a lot of things don't ship in that country. So I was in Kuwait, I was in Afghanistan, I was in Qatar, some people say that, and I was in Dubai. So going to those 4 different countries, it's 4 different types of water, 4 different climates. It was just so much with my skin, and I was getting really frustrated. A lot of the other girls were getting frustrated, and just soldiers in general. And like, you literally see people's confidence drop because they're breaking out. There's nothing we can do. So we started looking up stuff, and first thing we did was we tried a coffee scrub, because if you can get anything else while you're deployed, it's coffee. Like, everybody sends coffee. So we tried that, and we had like baby oil and stuff, but it was working a little bit, but not a lot. So I was like, I just need something natural. That's like just natural. So I started reading all the ingredients. Like, I sat on the floor in the PX for an hour. I had officers stepping over me, and I had all the soaps on the floor reading the ingredients, because I started to do research. And I realized a lot of my go-to products had drying agents in it. They had alcohols in it, and just chemicals that were making me break out. So being that I couldn't get a lot of supplies, once I got back in the States, I was in New York, so I had access to like a lot of African shops, a lot of shops. And I started getting a bunch of things that I researched and started just blending and mixing stuff to see what worked. And one day, I started using something. I was like, oh, I like how this feels. And by day 3, I noticed my face and stuff was clearing up. And I was like, all right, what paper was this? It was like on 5 Heartbeats when he was going finding all the lyrics. I was like, what paper? What did I put in this? So then I found it and I started making it. And I went back to drill because I am reserve. And everybody was like, what are you using? Because I'm using this. I spent all this money and your skin cleared up. I was like, oh, I made something. It was like, what? I was like, I'll bring it to you tomorrow. So I brought them some. By the end of the week, they all was like, I need more. And I was like, wait a minute now. This is natural, organic. It's not cheap. So they started giving me money to make it for them. So I was going to just do it as a little flea market thing because it was fun to make it. And when I came home, I gave it to my grandparents and some friends. And at that point, my grandfather was doing dialysis. So he had the catheter, something in his arm, and he had it wrapped. So his arm was like, you take a cast off and your skin is really dry and peeling. And he was just irritated and stuff. He kept putting, our grandparents swear by Vaseline, and it wasn't doing much for him. So I took my body butter. I just took just a little bit, and I wiped his arm, and I did like 2 strokes, and he like leaned back, and eyes was like real. He just looked very comforted. And then when I lift my hand up, it looked like I had like feathers on my hand. It was just all the dead and dry skin that he had been just throwing Vaseline over. So that's what really had me like, okay, I might have something here. And again, within a week, everyone had results, no matter what. I had sent some to Texas, Hawaii, just all over to different people, different climates, different problem issues, people with eczema, psoriasis, and everybody had positive results from the same 3 or 4 products.
Okay. So
I was like, okay, I might have something. And then someone actually wanted to put my products in their shop. At this point, I was still putting it in Tupperware. I didn't have a name, no logo. So they was like, well, can you figure it out in a week? And I was like, can I get 2 weeks? And I was like, I have to have things shipped to me. And it was like, okay. So in 2 weeks, I had my LLC. I had a logo that I drew at work. I had,
she drew it on the clock. Y'all know how people do. Drew the logo on the clock. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just had to get some stuff. That's where I wasn't happy, so I didn't care.
Right.
But I had to get all this stuff, and it kind of just snowballed. And after that, I just started asking people, because I do have a few celebrities that use our products and influencers, and I just was sliding in their DMs like, hey, you want to try this? I'll send it to you free. They see free and they see natural skincare or something and they want it.
Sometimes.
Right after that, natural products started trending.
Something you could say free. Some people are like, oh, if it's free, I wonder what's wrong. I don't want it. That's that negative mindset. I'm telling you, reboot your hard drive. And I will say this. We are we are known for being at the job on the clock, making a plan. When we know we get ready, that's our exit plan. Like, what we getting ready to do? Let me go ahead and do, this is what I'm getting ready to do. I want to move on to the face and body brown sugar honey scrub.
Mm-hmm.
This honey scrub.
That's the most popular.
Okay. I heard. And this, look, I'm like, I heard. I was like, oh, wait a minute. And it smells good, too. It smells good, too, for the dead skin. Tell me about this. Tell me about the scrub.
So I have them set up here. Let me grab them. I actually have 3 main face and body scrubs, and it's because we pretty much have like 3 different skin types. So the brown sugar honey is the most popular because it's for combination skin or sensitive skin, or just normal skin. So it helps with anyone, any issues. I do have a Himalayan salt scrub. This is for people who have more oily skin, and that's what's causing their breakouts. It's going to balance the pH in their face and help reduce some of the oil so they don't have those breakouts. And then I have a coffee scrub, and this is for people with dry, rough skin or blackheads and whiteheads and things like that, or body acne. For me, when I was deployed, that was my issue. Wherever the shower hit, my shoulders, my back, that's where I was breaking out a lot. And nothing was working. So the coffee scrub is really good for that, but you can use it for your face. They're all face and body. But the brown sugar scrub is the one that people tend
Wait a minute, 1 second.
Combination skin is more common.
1 second. For my people that are in the medical field, when she was, or into medicine, we're talking the comedones and the melias as far as like the whiteheads and the blackheads, okay? All right, go ahead. Go ahead, finish.
So a lot of people go to this one. It's not as coarse and abrasive as the coffee scrub, so a lot of people like it for that. But combination skin is more common than the other skin types.
Especially
so a lot of people get this. Now, I don't put any fragrance oils in any of my scrubs here because I don't want to take away from it being natural. So what you guys are smelling are its natural scents. I know everyone's like, the brown sugar smells so good. It smells like a cookie. Well, it's brown sugar. It's honey, and it has coconut oil in it. So that's what you guys are smelling. But that's all its natural fragrances. It's organic honey, it's raw sugar, and raw brown sugar. So
nothing will happen if
anything in it. Some people.
So nothing will happen if we decide to eat this. Nothing will happen if you
So that's the other thing. That's the other thing. People keep saying, I always have to tell people, don't eat it. Like I've never had to say that so much. It's not going to kill you. However, there are like the oils and stuff in there. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not sure what it will do to you. It's not going to kill you, but it's not meant for you to eat. But if y'all give me time, I will have something special for you guys coming soon. So just wait out on it, all right? I ain't going to say nothing else.
All right.
But just give me some time because I am a bit of a perfectionist and I don't like to release things until I'm comfortable. So
you heard that right there. You heard her. You heard her say that. Look, we ain't going to talk about that vaccine. We don't talk about that vaccine, the rush on the vaccine. So she likes to take time before she releases things. I want to ask you this, Jan. A guy actually said something about beard balm. So you have things for men?
I do. Let me grab that 1 second. So I do have beard balm. Now the beard balm is it's just like a grease or a moisturizer for the beard. It's going to help condition it. It's going to help with the strengthen it and everything like that. Now my beard balm is made with mango butter. I just did the research between mango butter and shea butter. And one thing I wanted to kind of set my stuff aside from everyone else. And a lot of people, their base is shea butter for their beard balm. I did mango butter because some of the benefits are just a little better for the hair on the face. A lot of times people are breaking out because the shea butter is a little too oily for their face and they already have oily skin. And the mango butter is just like a little bit better for that. So I do have the beard balm. And my beard line is called the Main Attraction, MANE. I also have a beard bar. I might not have it with me right now. I have a beard bar. What it is basically shea butter based soap. It's a shampoo bar. And I put coffee in it because a lot of times the guys are breaking out under these full beards and they don't know it because they can't see it. They're washing it, but they're not really getting their skin or exfoliating the skin underneath. And that can cause the breakage. That can cause the ingrown hairs. So with that beard bar, you just take it and do circular motions with that, where the coffee side is, and that's actually going to get under the beard and the skin and exfoliate that skin underneath there. And once you have, it's just like your hair, if your hair is too dirty or something, your hair's not going to grow. But once you have a clean scalp or a clean beard, it's going to help that grow a lot better, and it's going to be strengthened. And then you just follow up with the beard balm to help condition it. It's going to soften those guys with a real like straw-like or rough beards. It'll soften it and all of that. And this is, again, everything is all natural. I don't add fragrance to this. I know some people are like, they don't like the smell of shea butter or the mango butter, and they're like, oh, it's a little too earthy for me. But those fragrance oils, a lot of times, is what's making your beards and your hair break off. It's making it fragile. That's what's kind of killing it. It's stripping the natural oils out, and I don't want it to take away from it being natural. So I do have the beard balm. This is 2 ounces, just like the body butter. A little goes a long way. I know a lot of people is like, why is that 15? It's really small. It's because it'll last you a while. And I also have the men's, well, I don't say, it's not men's, it's the Wave and Scalp Moisturizer. This is 3 ounces, and it's basically a natural hair grease. Now, this one is shea butter based. I use it to grease my hair, but a lot of men use it. It's going to help make their waves pop. It's going to condition their hair. Guys that have trouble with getting waves and stuff like that, they use this. A lot of the guys said they stopped using. They used to use like 4 different products in their hair, and they stopped using all of that, and they just use this because it has pretty much all the stuff in this one thing that they were using before. So I do have these 2 things.
Now, you said you oil your scalp with that?
Moisturizer for the hair.
You said, wait a minute, you said you oil your scalp with that?
It's basically, it's just a natural hair grease.
Okay. All right. Now, the beard balm.
Yep, it's a natural.
The beard balm is not just for men, because we got some ladies out there that's rocking beards, so you can get it. Tell us how, Nick, you already know. Grown, okay. How can we contact you? For healthier skin, go natural. Natural like me.
Yeah.
Tell me, how can they contact you? Because I have a lot of people on here that are commenting. They're saying that it's good. One person said he likes the product. It's amazing. Let's see. Okay, somebody's piggybacking and actually co-signing with you as far as like you and your research on the product. This brown sugar honey scrub is it's not edible. There are people who use the scrub. So honestly, because like the season is changing and your lips get chapped, are you able to put it on your lips? Okay. That's why I was asking, was it edible? Like, if you ingest it, do we need to call poison control, or are we going to be okay?
No. You won't die if you eat it. A lot of people have, but I know some people, she takes the spoon and just eats it like she's supposed to. No, don't do that. Okay. But if you wash your face and your lips and you get some, you're not going to die. You're okay. But don't just dip a spoon in there. These are also people that used to like eat chalk and stuff in elementary and things like that. So.
Iron deficiency, that's what that means. Look, I'm like, iron deficiency.
Yeah.
That's what that means. How can the listening audience get the product? What's your contact information?
So I have a website. It's likemeskincare.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, Like Me Skincare. And the best way to contact me, I did have a phone, but like it's never being used. No one ever calls it. So I'm actually just going to go completely digital. And the best way to contact me is either to message me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/like me skincare, or on my Instagram page, which again is instagram.com/like me skincare. I don't have Twitter or anything like that. I just use those 2 platforms because those are the ones that most people are on. They use those the most. And just inbox me on there, or you can just go to the website and go to likemeskincare.com, and you can order that way. I do consultations. If you're on Facebook, some people just want a little more one-on-one time, me to help them with a routine or something like that. I do that, and you can book that on my Facebook page.
Which is Like Me Skincare, right?
Like Me Skincare.
And your website is Like Me Skincare as well? .com?
Yes, everything is Like Me Skincare. My Facebook, if you do it like facebook.com/like me skincare, it will come up. However, if you're typing in the search, you have to do Like Me natural skincare, because that's the full name of my business. However, no one's want to type that out for no.
I just found you.
You found it? Okay. Here, I want to let the listening audience know, because I have a lot of listening audience who does not have social media. So you could go to the website, and the website is likemeskincare.com. All of the information will be below on, as far as her contact information for social media, also on the YouTube page. So make sure you like me on the YouTube page, Shop Talk with Mel. And you'll see all our information listed below. We'll make sure we get that out there. And again, it's www.likemeskincare.com, and she will definitely mail your product out to you, right? How long does it usually
ship anywhere within the U.S.?
Anywhere within the U.S. And by it being almost Christmas, we know the different, like the post office, they say send your packages off by the 15th of December if you want it before Christmas. Yep. So you want to put your order in before December 15th. I didn't even say the date. December 15th if you want it before Christmas. Please allow shipment times or allow some space in between there. Allow some time. That's it. Allow some time during the holidays because of the overload and everything going on with 2020. So people are ordering online. It will be an excellent Christmas gift. I'm back to this whipped body butter. It feels so good. I like it. And yes, it is very small and it goes a long way. And it doesn't look like, when you put the little bit on your finger, you would think that it's just going to be just right there. It spreads so even. And I couldn't figure out the word. Me and my mother was talking last night. I couldn't even figure out the word of, to use. I was like, what is that? I was like, where it actually comes even. It spreads evenly. And a little goes a long way. And I went to...
Yeah, every time I do shows and I have like the sample, I'm like, you don't need that much. And they'll take a lot, thinking they need a lot.
Like lotion.
I had the last event. Yeah, the last event I did, the girl was sitting there. She lotioned her hands. She got about a dime size, maybe a nickel. She lotioned her hands. She lotioned her arms. She started lotioning her legs. She's like, somebody please take some. I was like, I told you, you don't
need that
need that much. It's just a little bit. So then I had to start divvying it out to them. I'm like, just a fingertip. That's all you need is your fingertip to do your hands and maybe a little bit of your arms. A little goes a long way. And a lot of people are like, I need a bigger jar. I'm like, you don't. You really don't. You're not using it right if you need a bigger jar. You don't need that much. They want like 8 ounces. I'm like, no, I'll never see you till next year. Like, no.
Right.
A long way. It is very even. And I did the body butter because again, when we were deployed, putting on lotion in 130-degree weather, by the time you go outside, you can literally see it melting on you.
You're cooking yourself.
The sand will stick to it. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people over there, if everyone's like, oh, why do they wear, the long, like, gowns and stuff? I'm like, it's hot. Your skin, when they told us we could, like, didn't have to have on our uniform, we were like, yes, everybody was outside in a T-shirt and shorts for all of 20 minutes. And then we went back in and put on long sleeves because your skin is literally, like, baked. Especially if you got a lotion, your skin is, like, literally baking. So, and the lotion just don't sit there. But with the shea butter, it absorbs into your skin. It's not greasy, and you're moisturized you have a little shine, a little glow to it. And that's what I was using. I actually had some for my hair. So that's what I was using out there. Or I would try to put baby oil if I didn't have anything else because it's just too hot. And the lotion was sticky. But that's why we use the shea butter. And I do have a lot more products, different soaps and everything like that on my website. My Milk and Honey face soap is the main one that everyone loves. So,
all right, I gotta go to the next segment. That is the Jan Tony. She is the founder, operator, and creator of Like Me Skincare. Like Me Skincare, and you can visit her website and order the supplies that she offers at www.likemeskincare.com. Again, that's www.likemeskincare.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Candy.
I'm Todd.
And you're listening to Shop Talk with Mel.
Hey, we get ready to get into these hot topics, and the hot topic segment is brought to you by Kiki's Creations, and that's where I received it for the people that's able to look and see. That's where I get my mugs from.
Is brought to you by Kiki's Creations LLC, specializing in customized and personalized apparel, face masks, jewelry, memorial items, and so much more. Never leave home without a Kiki's Creation. That's right, they make it personal. Contact Kiki's Creations LLC at Kiki's Creations LLC, creations being spelled with a K, on Facebook.
All right, that's Kiki's Creations. I appreciate you, Kiki, for sponsoring this hot topic segment. All right, so let me get with the hot topics real quick. Let's hurry up. We got a little bit of time. In Vogue, they are talking about a reunion, an In Vogue reunion. Would that be something you'd be interested in seeing? Either one of y'all?
Absolutely.
Well, they have that.
As long as it's the original members, even the hard-headed one, Dawn.
Listen, speaking of Dawn, while you're playing, Dawn said that she's up for it. Now, we ain't seen Maxine. I don't know what happened to Maxine. But Dawn said that she would definitely do a reunion, but Rona got to go. Rona's the young girl that just joined In Vogue, and we know that they can hold their own just with the 3. They don't really need the 4. But Dawn actually said that to a blogger. She said it. I was like, that's something that you should probably say to the side and tell the original members, like, listen, I will do it, but she can't go with it, because people want to see the original group. They definitely want to see the original group. Paris Jackson, she has an album out. She released it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Friday. So Paris Jackson has an album out. Yeah, and I know a lot of people, that's Michael Jackson's daughter. Yeah. And don't compare her to Michael Jackson. Her video, she does have a video, and it's like dark. It's a dark video, like Thriller. And y'all just got to check it out. Hey, listen, the girl trying to make some moves, let her make some moves. Okay, I'm all about it. Charlie Wilson. Now, everybody know Uncle Charlie. Charlie Wilson's wife is not playing. Now, you remember I talked about how he actually met her. For those of you who don't know, y'all can Google it, but I'll tell you real quick. He was in rehab, and she was a doctor. Remember we talked about that, Nick, before? With Charlie Wilson?
Uh-huh.
And then when Charlie was going back into the studio, and they had to meet up with, it was like Snoop and all of them, and they like to get high in the studio. She checked them. She was like, no, you need to put that out. No, spray it. Do whatever you need to do. He cannot be around that. So at least she knows, she like, I'm keeping my man on the straight and narrow. We making money. We making dollars. But do you know that he never received a Grammy? He was nominated. He was nominated like 10, 11 times. He never received a Grammy.
Not even as a Gap band?
Isn't that something?
While they was in a Gap band? Wow.
Interesting. And you know that he's the one that taught, he had a little guy that he was working with some young boy back when they were the Gap band. They called the little boy Baby Gap. He was the one that actually taught Michael Jackson. Remember Michael Jackson said a young boy from Chicago taught him how to do the moonwalk? That's what it was. It was Baby Gap with the Gap band. So kudos to them. Look, everybody know Michael Jackson done coined it, okay? Braxton Family Value. Y'all know I like my little TV, my reality TV. Now, did y'all catch the Braxton Family Values last week? No? Well, yeah. See, Nick don't be doing it, and Rue gonna be like, I ain't into that. But let me tell you what happened.
Well, with me working midnight now and work the day turn, I can't between, because I get off at late.
I understand, but guess what? I won't let that be an excuse for you, because I've been doing it for how many years? And I come on, so that's not gonna be an excuse. I still catch my ratchet TV. I still catch my ratchet TV, but this is a question that I have to ask. I'm gonna set it up for y'all. What ended up happening? Trina got married again. This is marriage number 3. And Tony Braxton, that is, and she decides, okay, since Trina decided to not have any bridesmaids, but her husband had groomsmen, which was kind of cool. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that's different. Tony decided, well, let's carry her train. Well, while they was getting ready to carry her train, Tracy tripped over a plant, one of the little ficus trees. So she fell. What would you do if you were in Trina's position as a bride and one of your helpers fall? Or maids. All of them was bridesmaids because that's who actually holds the train. What would you do?
I would check to make sure she was okay.
Okay, go ahead. What would you do?
Because she could have broke an ankle or something like that.
You so kind. Go ahead, Jan. What would you do?
I don't know if it's the military in me, but the show must go on. Like, somebody get her up and keep going, because you gotta. If you put too much attention on it, it's gonna make it bigger than what it is. She tripped. Okay, let's move on. So I would have just. I gotta keep going.
Now
like,
I thought about my sister. Listen, she definitely would have kept going. All the rumbling and tumbling that was happening in the back, she would have kept going. Guess what? Somebody over there, y'all catch her, and then she probably would have been like, here this clown go. Now she done fell or something. She'll find out what happened after. She's like, I don't know what was going on back there. I'm not even looking back. Buff would have kept going. Just like you said, Jan, the show must go on. If anything is happening, she gonna keep on going, not look back, boom, and then afterwards be like, well, what happened? Then we'll be laughing about it. I was like, yeah, I laid out. I was laid out back there with the plant and the tree all over me. She's like, you ain't taking my shine.
Right.
She definitely would have. But see, Nick is so nice. You would have turned around and you would have seen it. That is so kind of you. You get a gift. You get more than $20. You get more than $25.
I would listen. I ain't say I wasn't gonna keep going. I would have just made sure nothing was broken, and then come on, we gotta go. But I'd have made sure she was okay. Yeah,
that is so.
And then kept going. I didn't say I wasn't gonna keep going. I was just gonna make sure she was okay. Nothing.
That
broken.
Is so nice.
You get broken. Okay, let's go.
You get more than $25 in the card just for that, because usually you only pay for your plate. Everybody know if I'm coming to your wedding, that's all you getting is $25. I'm paying for my plate. Bye. Have a good day. But for people like Nick, who is actually going to take the time to see, I would just want to make sure everybody is okay. Look, that is so nice. And that is unselfish of you to sit back on your special day and make sure that people are all right. Because I don't know too many people that sit there and be like, you okay? I'll be like, Jan, the show must go on. And you listen, especially the way that I am, Nick, you work with me enough. You know me, the show must go on. I don't care if you got a limp. If you gotta do whatever. We love, like that one scene. We need a. We gotta go. Showtime. And I'm gonna need for my lovely people that are getting married. I'm gonna need for you to start on time. Like, really. One of my mom's friends, she said she has a problem with that because you said that this was a good time for you because you put it in the invitations. Now, if it's not a good time, let it start a half hour later. Put on the invitation a half hour later. I need for you to be on time. All you need for a wedding, don't sit and wait for your bridesmaids, your groomsmen. If the bride and the groom is there, guess what? They bought that dress, but they ain't walking down if they're not there. Okay? Do you have a problem with starting things late, Jan?
I do. When it's something that's like involving other people, like, you know, like you said, like a wedding, you got other people coming for you and things like that. I do. It's kind of irritating. I like things to go as planned. And I know for my best friend, for her wedding a few years ago, one thing we did was we lined up while she was downstairs getting ready, and people were coming in, and we were like, where y'all going? Oh, no, they already seated. Y'all got to wait. Like, go back outside. You can't come in. And we stopped people at the door. We was like, for real bodyguards. It's like, what are you doing? They're like, oh, we just going to sneak. No. We're here. The only people going through this door is us now. You got to wait. So
now, you have
like,
a
y'all
point.
had time. We waited because we know they were trying to get seating. But it was like, I'm sorry. The grace period is over. You can see us when we walk out. You can't go in right now. So, I mean, that's just, I feel like it's inconsiderate. So I like things to start on time, but I understand sometimes things don't go as planned. But big things, especially if you got other people waiting on you, You need to be on time.
Yeah, and what is that? You're late as a guest, and you want to sneak in during while the ceremony going on. What is that? I'm glad y'all stopped him. That's nuts to me. I'm like,
we shut the doors.
we just said we were security. It was like, it's not happening. Here's my next question. Do you celebrate engagement anniversaries? Look at Nick like, what?
I mean, maybe the first one if you didn't get married yet in that year, but I don't see why, because once you become married, that's your anniversary now. So there's not a point. If your wedding is, you get engaged and your wedding's like not for another year or two, maybe that first one just to have something nice to do, but I wouldn't make it a big thing. Let's go to dinner and that's it. But
go ahead, married woman.
If you have an engagement party when you first get engaged,
right,
then that's it. But if you gonna be engaged for 5 years for you get married, then that's your problem.
Not an engagement party, an engagement anniversary.
Right, I understand what you're saying, and that's what I'm saying. If you gonna have an engagement party, have an engagement party. If you ain't get married for 5 years and after the engagement party, I'll see you at the wedding. We're not doing no engagement anniversary every year until you get married.
Well, Lamar Odom, that's what he did. I guess he had enough of weddings. He's like, no, listen, we'll just do an engagement anniversary. All right, the Super Bowl is still happening, February the 7th. Guess who's performing?
Janet Jackson.
See how you lit up? Who you think, Jan?
I don't even know. I'm
going to tell you because it is I don't know. The Weeknd. How you got The Weeknd performing? I mean, I feel like I'll be asleep. He almost like that John Legend. Like,
I mean, he got some good stuff, but
he got some hits.
Awards this year, so I mean, I guess it makes sense. But I didn't know any of the songs, so
see,
he got some good stuff, some good collabos. I mean, yeah. But for the
Super Bowl, I don't think.
But for the Super Bowl,
yeah, usually, we look forward to the halftime. We actually look forward to the halftime. I'm not looking forward to The Weeknd and his one dreadlock. Like, I just,
She said one dreadlock.
It's just one big dreadlock. I'm just like, no, I can't do that. All right, let me hurry up because we're running out of time. Thanksgiving giveaway. Shout out to the people that give the giveaways for Thanksgiving. There was a school in the Youngstown area that was able to give baskets to every student that they had. Now, my question is this. Actually, it's really not a question. It's something that I actually know. They give out food to the less fortunate. But I think this year, the less fortunate would be your essential workers. And the reason I'm saying that is because you have people that get food stamps. And we're giving it to them because we think that they don't have when they have. And then you got an additional $300 in food stamps that they was giving out because your girl checked on it to see if you had, students that were staying at home. So you had an additional $300 on top of whatever amount that you were getting before. And then you get a basket. But then you have your essential workers that was out there working on the front line. People at home was getting unemployment, $600 on top of their unemployment, making more money than the people that were actually risking their life and working, still making the same amount, can't even feed themselves for the holidays or trying to make ends meet to put a meal together. But they just like, oh, okay. So what's up with that?
But those with food stamps gonna have a big old seafood bowl and crab leg spread and everything else off of them food stamps. Know many of them that do it. I ain't knocking y'all. Trust me.
Sounds like a hater. Sounds like a hater. Do I hear a hater?
I'm hating because I can't afford it.
There you go. See, so I think that what they need to be doing, honestly, for you people that are collecting and giving it to the less fortunate, your less fortunate are the people that's going out there like Nate. Shout out to you, Nate, that's busting your tail, every day working, trying to feed your family, barely making it, but you're going to give a basket to somebody. Okay, we're going to feed the less fortunate. The less fortunate are your people that's going to work every day, your essential workers. So y'all need to reevaluate that thing and see what's going on, and give those baskets to the lovely people. And they do have food giveaways, but now they have, with the food giveaways, they want you to show ID. Either you're giving it away or you're not. Why do I got to show you my ID?
You got to show ID.
Oh, you got to show ID now. Matter of fact, 9 o'clock in the morning, they had a giveaway, but you have to show ID. Some people don't want people to know that they are in need. Why do I have to show ID? Can I just pull up?
Are they trying to keep it within Ohio? Maybe that's why, because you have.
But guess what? If your heart is in the right place, and you're giving it away anyway, and it's free, like she said, what difference does it make? What difference?
Obviously, they're in need.
Yes, they pulled up.
The only thing I can think is that they're keeping track, so they're making sure that one person isn't getting more than one basket or something like that, or one household. But other than that,
don't write my name down. Don't write my name down. Don't. I'm not giving you my email address. I'm not giving you my phone number, because then the people gonna be calling you, talk about your warranty, or vote for this person. Listen, they get your information, they sell it. They sell your information for the lovely telemarketers. I ain't knocking the telemarketers, because boom, you need a job too. I try to be nice, but they kind of aggressive. No, how did you get my number? Get out of here. This is my cell. You should be calling the home phone. That's why people have home phones. Call that number. How did you get my cell phone number? Not playing.
Right.
Look, I'm like, not playing. But really, those people that are actually in those positions for the food giveaways, a lot of people aren't putting their names down because they don't want it out there. But it's the essential workers, especially this year, 2020, that are in need and don't have. It's your people that's going to work every day that don't have, and you don't know, because they're going there and they got a smile on their face. But you got people that was sitting at the house getting an additional $600, because trust and believe, if I could have sat at the house and got my pay plus an additional $600, or a percentage of my pay plus the $600 and stamps, what? And I didn't have to put myself in harm's way? What?
Right.
I'm down for it. Oh, we were talking about President Trump when he made his statement earlier in the show, when he actually came forward and did a little speech last night. And he was talking about the vaccine. And he was saying how it's doing well and all that lovely stuff. But he said, except New York. He threw a little shade at Governor Cuomo. He said, except New York. But kudos to Governor Cuomo. The reason is because he said he needs to make sure. He's trying to keep his people alive. Right. He's trying to keep his people alive. I'm not mad at you. You're rushing with this vaccine. We did talk about one. They had to wait because they wanted to do it before the election. But there was one person that got really, really sick, and we talked about it on the previous show. I had the young man's name that he actually, he was a lab rat. I'm just going to use that term because we know the people, here. You can test me and see if it worked. I'm not doing it. The first people that they want to give the vaccine to is your healthcare workers, your first responders. Look, your essential workers. Who is getting rid of the essential workers? They got to take care of everybody else. Stop. Why are they first on the line? So your girl's not getting it. Hey, listen, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you, as I do each and every single Saturday. We already know what it is. Find you. Embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop talk.
Shop talk.
Right here on your Spreaker.com.